And a lot of us are going to be digging out of that snow, piles of snow, because of Winter Storm Nikos.
Yeah, and it's brought wind, it's brought heavy snow. Kids have been loving it. We've seen a lot of fun, and unfortunately, we have at least reported 1, if not 2 deaths out of this storm. But for the most part, it's been business as usual around the New York City area. NBC's Blake McCoy, though, is joining us live from Boston. And Blake, we want to know, what's it like? You know, things are up and going. We checked in last hour with our friend in Times Square. How are things in downtown Boston? Seems like people are driving and walking.
The way these clouds actually grew in the atmosphere. So it's interesting. Let's go over to the chalkboard here and let's talk about thunderstorm in relation to its bigger summertime cousin, right? The typical thunderstorm that Dr. Forbes will talk about, okay? So let's take a look and let's cut apart this thunderstorm here. We're going about 50,000 feet into the atmosphere, and these types of storms have tremendous updrafts within the storm themselves. What happens is you'll get a production of graupel or soft hail in the lower portions of the storm here, and that will be separated as the updraft really pushes through to snow crystals that are located in the top of the cloud here. Through this great depth of the atmosphere, you get a charge separation here, and the stronger the charge separation over this great depth here, the bigger the actual charge will build up, and eventually it releases in the form of this lightning strike. So that's what happens in summertime thunderstorms. Now, let's go to wintertime storms. Typically, wintertime snowstorms are relatively shallow in the atmosphere, right? So they're somewhere in a level something like this. But we had something referred to as elevated convection, which developed just because of the amount of energy in the storm today. So what was happening is we're getting these convective elements that were coming out and forming these same types of storms here, but only to about 30,000 feet in the atmosphere. We're getting the same type of elements with heavily rimed snowflakes referred to as graupel or soft hail down in the base of the storm, and the snow crystal development in the dendritic zone higher up in the storm. We still got enough of a charge separation within these elements to produce this big lightning strike in the storm, which eventually equalizes that charge in here. So it's the same type of activity, but in this type of wintertime storm, we can get these convective elements that develop higher into the atmosphere and produce thunder snow.
So we can just get this these extreme areas of uplift, basically, that allow us to almost have smaller thunderstorms.
And today, everything was perfectly efficient for this to occur. It all came together at the right place at the right time. I often refer to this as the sum being greater, or the whole being greater than the sum of the parts.
Good call. And great explainer. Thank you so much, Tom. Bye.
Including transportation.
All right, you were listening in to Governor Charlie Baker of Massachusetts. And this just in, actually, Boston now been dropped from the blizzard warning. So at this point, really only the Cape and then parts of...
It's Braintree and the Route 3 split here on the south side of Boston.
Hey, after almost 15 inches of snow in Boston, who'd have thunk that the roads would be in that great a shape? Mike, thanks for the update. Appreciate that.
Yeah, we're going to be checking back in with him, but we got to check in on the west as well. The stormy pattern continues. Flash flood watches and flood watches posted from the northwest all the way down into the state of California, even interior parts of the northwest.
We've had some real issues in California. We know the Oroville spillway has been breached, and so it's got a big gash in it, and so they've got issues there, and flooding may be an issue downstream from there. But the Sacramento Valley, even back into Nevada, portions of Idaho, we have flood warnings here, and it's not going to stop anytime soon.
No, we get more rain overnight and into the day tomorrow, even some rain showers for your Friday and into the start of the weekend around LA. Salt Lake City, rain to snow, and snow for interior parts of the west as well. Notice things begin to quiet by the time we get into Saturday afternoon.
Finally, by the weekend, we get a little bit drier weather coming our way. All right, Seattle, let's run through your forecast. Windy, wet day for you tomorrow. There's the weekend that you're looking forward to. Temperatures upper 40s to right around 50. So there is some light at the end of the tunnel here, but we got to get through tomorrow before we get to that.
Yeah, and still to come, rainfall-wise, looking at 1 to 2 inches between San Fran and Los Angeles. For much of the coastal locations, though, up to an inch. So scaling back a bit, but the high elevation snow continues.
Indeed it does. All right, let's